Passports, identification numbers, medical papers. These are all very important documents that most, if not all of us have. You probably have them stored in some sort of envelope in a closet or a file cabinet. But what happens if something happens to these physical documents? Do you have a plan for your documents in case of disaster? This is the Digital Prepper, and today we're going to look at ways you can prepare by backing up your most important documents. One question you might be asking yourself is, why should I back up my documents digitally? Well, as preppers, you should always have backups. You probably have extra gas stored, food, water, and other items. Having backups of your physical documents in a digital format is an excellent way to prepare in case of any sort of disaster. One popular wisdom for preppers is that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, meaning that you always want to have a backup of whatever it is that you have in case of something happening. This should also apply to any physical documents that you have. Various circumstances can happen. Depending on your location, there could be many types of things that could happen: earthquakes, fires, tornadoes, and because you would have set yourself up with this form of redundancy, there's more of a chance for you to be better off when disaster happens. Finally, it's just easier to bring along an external hard drive or USB flash drive rather than a stack of files and small cards that can easily get lost, especially if your documents were not organized. So, right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, I want to back up my physical documents. Which document should I back up first? Well, in reality, you can store whatever you have the space for, but let's start with the most important documents. In my opinion, I would say anything that you can think of that may be important, tedious, or even impossible to reobtain. Examples of this would be social security cards, passports, medical information, birth certificates, even driver's licenses. For example, in the United States, it is a very tedious process in order to reobtain social security cards if they are lost or destroyed. Some of the things that they even ask for in order to get that document back would be things like birth certificates and passports. And if, for example, you have lost these physical paperworks in a disaster, but you had them in a digital format, you could use these to assist with getting that paperwork back. Other examples of things that would be impossible to get back are things like family photos. A lot of people like to print out their family photos, place them all over the house. But if something happened, like a fire, those photos would not be able to be recovered, but you would have them digitally backed up to print at a later time. So what are some ways to convert physical documents to digital files, and how do you store them? Well, converting them is the easy part. You can use a scanner for most paperwork or cards. If you don't have a scanner, there are various phone applications that can take a photo of a document and convert it into a PDF automatically. You would then just put these files on your computer. I would not advise utilizing public spaces like copy shops or even libraries. I wouldn't even be comfortable bringing those kinds of files outside my own home. Once you have these documents digitized, how do we store them? Well, we have a few options that we can utilize. The first are USB flash drives. The benefits to using these are, first, they are small devices, so they can be stored or hidden in more places than any of the other options. They can also store a lot of information depending on the size that you purchase. The only downside that I could see with these is that some of them can be broken quite easily. The next option that we have would be external hard drives. In some aspects, especially with today's technology, you could honestly say that they are just larger flash drives, especially since most of them use solid-state technology. This would be a better option, as a lot of external hard drives are designed to be carried around or stored, and some of them are even designed to deal with possible hazards like falling from high heights. The only downside I can see with these is that they can be a little bit more expensive. Finally, we have network attached storage, or NAS. These are more bulkier drive arrays, meaning that they are built already with redundancies by having more than one hard drive built into them. These network attached storage can have as little as 2 hard drives to as many as 4 or more. This can mean that in case of a hard drive failure, it would already have backed up your data to another one of its hard drives. You can then just get a replacement hard drive and replace it out, and it would automatically back up your data. The benefits to these are that they can possibly store more than the other 2 options combined. They can also be set up on your home network, meaning that you'll have access to your files from anywhere in your home on your computer. Some of them even have settings to allow you to access these files from anywhere. Obviously, while this is a great benefit, you do need to be aware that because this can be on your home network, it is possible that if someone hacked your computer, they can gain access to your files. Another drawback to this option is that it can be the most expensive of the 3. Now that you have your documents digitally backed up, here are some ways to keep them safe. One thing you can do is put your files in organized folders and then place passwords on them. If you have questions on how to manage passwords, take a look at our previous video on how to manage your passwords. If you are using a network access device, just make sure that when you set it up, not to keep the default username or password. Again, hackers will try the easiest way to access your data because they already assume that people are lazy and put the easiest usernames and passwords on their data. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you learned something, or not, and if you have any digital prepping questions that you would like addressed in a future video, please comment down below. More digital prepping to come.